DACA members expressing concerns.
The wave of sadness,
Under the Trump administration, California up in flames after fierce winds threatened to intensify 2 wildfires. And Nintendo news, what the video game company has in store with the Mario Brothers. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. Thanks for joining us. I'm Valentina Gaspari.
And I'm Julian Davis. Today's Friday, November 8th, 2024.
Live from the Lee Caplin School of Journalism and Media in North Miami, this is Caplin News.
A SoFlu spotlight on presidential cabinet appointments. That includes both the outgoing administration and the incoming one.
We begin with a visit to Doral yesterday by President Biden's Secretary of Defense. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin touching down in South Florida Thursday and addressing his legacy as President Biden and his cabinet get set to leave office.
I think we've done remarkable things. You know, we strengthened NATO.
He was in Doral for a transition of leadership ceremony at the offices of the U.S. Southern Command. But while he was there, he also addressed the transition of power in Washington, and more specifically, at the Department of Defense.
We will be focused on making a smooth, calm, professional transition.
South Florida is also in the spotlight when it comes to speculation about the incoming cabinet. For Secretary of State, a key national security position, President-elect Trump's reportedly thinking of Florida Senator Marco Rubio, originally from West Miami, who's hawkish towards China and was a finalist to be Trump's running mate.
I think most people think that would be a responsible choice. It would be somebody who does know international relations, who has been around these issues now ever since he got into the Senate.
Shortly after the election was called Wednesday, Rubio was asked about any possible cabinet appointment.
I haven't had any such conversations with anybody in the Trump administration, and either way, I plan to work with them, whether it's in the Senate, which is an important place to be, or in some other capacity. If those conversations happen, we'll have them. But I certainly haven't talked to anybody about it.
Right after the election, a federal organization called the General Services Administration in D.C. begins providing support and office space for the president-elect for setting up the new administration.
History is made as President-elect Donald Trump appoints Susie Wiles as his White House Chief of Staff. She will become the first woman to ever hold that role. Wiles was previously the co-chair of his 2024 campaign and has been credited for running what has been considered his most disciplined campaign. In a statement by the president-elect, Trump called her tough and smart, and that he has, quote, no doubt that she'll make her country proud.
Speculation and fear is on the rise for students in the DACA program as President-elect Donald Trump prepares to return to the White House. As KGTV's Danny Mescal reports, the recipients are worried about their future.
I have friends who were scared coming to campus for the first couple of classes because they don't know if checkpoints will be open. They don't know if these policies are going to start going in place immediately.
This was a very different morning for Juan Sanchez coming to school at Cal State San Marcos. He tells me the election results are making him feel
just the wave of sadness. I have a lot of family, friends, and people I really care about that are going to be really affected.
Juan says he's comfortable sharing that he's a mixed status student.
So mixed status students are just students such as myself who have family members who are undocumented.
Because of his status, he's been fully plugged in to the university's Dreamers Resource Office.
It's really providing a safe environment for our students.
Viridiana Diaz is the Vice President of Student Affairs. She tells me the campus has undocumented students enrolled from around the world. It's why the university created the Dreamers Resource Office. It helps students with free legal advice, assistance with applying for private scholarships, counseling, and more.
Our undocumented students always have to live in fear. They're not really able to plan the way that most 18 to 25-year-olds are planning the future in terms of what they want to do 3 years from now, 5 years from now, because they don't really know what the future holds for them.
Diaz tells me post-election, the resource office will focus on helping students like Juan feel supported.
This might not be affecting me personally, but it's affecting people that I really love.
A federal judge strikes down the Biden administration's program for undocumented spouses married to U.S. citizens. This case is one of several across 16 states that filed a lawsuit to block the Keeping Families Together program. The judge's reason for yesterday's ruling was that Congress had not given the executive branch the authority to implement that program.
3 people are facing preliminary charges in Argentina for the crimes related to the death of former One Direction member Liam Payne. The Argentinian Public Prosecutor's Office stated that a hotel employee and a suspected drug dealer are among the 3 individuals arrested. They are currently facing charges of abandonment before a death and supply and facilitation of narcotics. According to prosecutors' statement, the late singer had a mix of alcohol, cocaine, and a prescription antidepressant in his system before his death.
California wildfires have grown in size within a single day. Dangerous winds and dry conditions threaten to worsen the fires that have burned 14,000 acres and have forced 14,000 people to evacuate. 2 wildfires exploded just outside Los Angeles, the Broad Fire in Malibu and the Mountain Fire in Ventura County. Fire officials have said several people have already been hospitalized. 25 million are under life-threatening conditions.
Class is in session at a South Florida Asian restaurant. Caplin's Natalie Dominguez has more on the hands-on experience.
Hello and welcome. Today we're at the Baushi Food Hall and Bar in Pembroke Pines. We're taking a look at everything this place has to offer, from food, drinks, events, and so much more. Today, let's look at the mixology class they got going on. Located on the east side of Pembroke Pines, Baushi Food Hall and Bar is a one-stop shop for Asian fusion eats, weekly events, and group classes ranging from botanical gardening to dumpling making. This month's mixology class showed attendees the tips and tricks to making diverse and flavorful drinks, creating a unique weekend experience.
Most people don't have a lot of experience bartending. They always see bartenders, to do the long pours, and it looks cool. I remember before I was a bartender, that's what I wanted to see and do and try. So that's what I try to make the class all about. For you to experiment, for you to make mistakes, because that's how we learn, and for you to just have fun overall. That's the biggest thing.
The bartender was great. She explained everything thoroughly. They wrote down everything in the list that, of the certain things and certain ounces that you need in particular drinks. But everything was superb, and I will be coming back. AG, who is one of my lead bartenders, she's just so spunky and she's just so full of personality, and she makes the class really fun and enjoyable for everybody. So I would say the mixology classes are probably one of my favorites.
Offering a wide array of events for both friends and family, Baushi Food Hall and Bar has it all. Reporting for Caplin News, this is Natalie Dominguez.
The Florida Panthers host the Nashville Predators.
That's still ahead, and so is the story.
Concordia, the bros set sail. Together they adventure without fail. From jungles to deserts and plenty more, they'll connect the islands shore to shore.
Video game news from one of the industry's most iconic set of characters. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. buzz driving is drunk driving.
Every day,
Millions of people are connecting
and even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together.
we should still make an effort
We should still make an effort
to get to know each other.
On a deeper level.
Father,
Cosplayer,
Mentor.
actor.
it's time we take a step forward
It's time we take a step forward
come together,
and discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
Nintendo news, and it all starts with a game from an old favorite. Not only will Super Nintendo World open its doors in Orlando next year, but fans can now explore new features.
Yes, as CNN's Rick Damiela reports, a new Mario game, an alarm clock, and a music app were released this week.
Concordia, the bros set sail. Together they adventure without fail. From jungles to deserts and plenty more, they'll connect the islands shore to shore.
The Mario Brothers set sail. Nintendo has just released Mario and Luigi Brothership for the Switch console. The latest adventure featuring the plucky plumbers finds them able to wield the power of their brotherly bond to defeat enemies and complete their quest. If you can't get enough of the music from Animal Crossing New Horizons or Donkey Kong Country, you can now listen to them away from the games. Nintendo has released Nintendo Music. The streaming app features a wide selection of Nintendo game tunes. It's free for active members of the Nintendo Switch Online service and is available now for Android and iOS devices.
This is Nintendo Sound Clock Alarmo.
Yes, really. Nintendo has released its own alarm clock. Among its features, Nintendo Sound Clock Alarmo lets you wake up to the sounds of Mario's Mushroom Kingdom, along with other Nintendo game sounds. The device is currently available to paid Nintendo Switch Online members, with a public release slated for next year. Leveling up in Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
And for sports news, the Cats clawed up the Nashville Predators in a 6-2 win right here at home. The Panthers jumped to action early with goals scored by Sam Reinhart and Matthew Tkachuk in the first 5 minutes of the first period. Nashville struggled to get into the game, conceding 3 more goals in the second period and scoring one last goal in the third period to make the final game 6-2. The final score for this game was a Panther win, Predators 2, Panthers 6. The Cats will now host the Philadelphia Flyers tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. You're watching Newsbreak, and we're coming right back.
Really use a new tablet. I just don't have the money.
Let me ask you something. Do you have a Pell Grant?
Yes?
You do know you can get a free tablet, right?
Did you say free?
Yeah, free. It's simple. And the application is done in the store.
I could really use a tablet.
Go get one. Another satisfied customer. Stop by Panther in the Graham Center at FIU MMC today to speak with one of our associates to get your free tablet.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life. But how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have something called prediabetes. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Julian Davis.
I'm Valentina Gaspar. Get more news anytime at caplinnews.fiu.edu.